So the best thing is, let me dehumanize my wife. Let me pay for her food, give her clothes, shelter, raise children with her, but let me be emotionally absent with her. Let me be emotionally present for my mother only. Yeah, and this is his way of proving loyalty towards his narcissistic mother. Hey everyone, I hope everyone is doing good and taking good care of themselves. So today I'm going to talk about how a son of a narcissistic mother proves his loyalty to her. And before I get going, I would request you all to like, share, subscribe the channel, hit the notification bell so you guys are updated whenever we put out a new content. So you guys know who I am. I'm Sarah Khan, trauma professional and a narcissistic abuse recovery coach. I have written a couple of books that you can check out on Amazon. And today we are unmasking one of the most painful dynamic in narcissistic family system. And that is how a son of a narcissistic mother proves his loyalty, to her, to his narcissistic mother, often at the cost of his own identity, autonomy, and relationships. So if you've ever been in a relationship with a man who seemed emotionally vacant, fused, to his mother and incapable of supporting you, today's lecture, today's discussion, today's video is, for you. So let us start with the foundation. In narcissistic families, when you are raised by narcissistic mothers, they don't raise their children, they enlist them, they breed for return. A narcissistic mother doesn't raise sons, she enlists them. She breeds them for return. They emotionally seduce their sons into becoming, extensions of their ego. And in psychology, this is called covert incest. Not sexual, but yes, in some cases I have seen, things going that far. But mostly it is, emotional enmeshment, a very unhealthy form of enmeshment, very unhealthy, you know, bad kind of emotional enmeshment. So, the son is basically groomed by these narcissistic women, narcissistic mother. The sons are groomed to regulate her emotions, soothe her wounds, and reflect her idealized self image. So, these guys are not trained to be man. They are, you know, gaslit, manipulated, and groomed in such a way that they don't even become, a masculine man. They grow up to be a very emasculated man. Yeah, they might, have sex with you. They might have everything with you. They might, be seen as a very smart, tall, dark, handsome kind of a man. But, they are really emasculated in the head. Yeah, they are not manly. They can be man to look at, to be with, but they are very emasculated, when it comes to their response. They won't be protective about you. They won't be fighting for you. They won't be standing up with you. Yeah, so I mean, they are uh, an emasculated version. They are not a manly version. And if you're familiar with Dr. Carol McBride, in Will I Ever Be Good Enough, you know Dr. McBride, talks about how narcissistic mothers use guilt, shame, and conditional love to keep their children emotionally handcuffed, yeah, to her. The son, I mean, especially if he is the golden child, becomes her emotional husband, her pseudo husband, her emotional spouse, yeah, her second spouse. She might be having a husband, but she, you know, uh, blurs the boundary and grooms her son, her favorite son, her golden child, or her only son to be a replacement, you know, uh, for her husband. Yeah, what I'm not getting from my husband, I'll get it from my son. What I'm not getting, from my father, what I'm not getting, from my brother, from my friend, I'm going to program and condition my son to give me all of those things. All of the things that should be given to me by an adult, I'm going to groom my son to give all of those things to me. Yeah. And these sons, I mean, who are raised by narcissistic mothers, they never get to, develop autonomy. Instead, they are just trained to see, loyalty, or to view or to believe that loyalty is all about self sacrifice. So if I have to prove my loyalty towards my narcissistic mother, I have to self sacrifice. If I have to prove my loyalty towards my narcissistic father, I have to self sacrifice. That's how these folks, these narcissistic parents, they distort, things inside of your head. That's how they program you, you know, to just serve them, even at the cost of your own happiness, your job, your relationship. You are trained to show loyalty by sacrificing your own self, your own happiness. Now, let us explore how, a son who's raised by a narcissistic mother proves his loyalty, to his narcissistic mother, even in adulthood. Childhood, of course, we all know how things are. The son, uh, feels jealous, with the father. The son, mediates. The son, stands up and, shouts at the father, why are you mistreating my mother? Why are you hurting her? Why, don't you, try hard to keep her happy? I have seen all of these things. That's how, these kids, they function and behave in their childhood. They feel that they are, their mother's confidant. They know everything about their mother, and they are aware that daddy is a bad person. I am her savior. I will be rescuing her. Daddy is horrible. I need to protect this princess from that demon. And who is the demon? The demon is the father. And who becomes the princess? The narcissistic mother. So, what are the different ways this guy, I mean, in his adulthood, how, he um proves his loyalty towards his narcissistic mother? The first way is he remains, I mean, of course, he becomes and he remains her emotional surrogate. So he will keep on listening to her pain, whatever crap story she has to narrate, all those victim stories, sad sob story. He will keep, looking after her needs, often at the cost of his own emotional space. Yeah. So he is like an emotional toilet. He is going to, let her vent and dump whatever she has to, and he's going to give her that audience. He's going to be there. Yes mom, I'm there. Even though it's, ruining his mental health, it's ruining his relationship, but he doesn't care. you know he feels that it's his job and duty to listen to her, and to, be there, for her, even though what she actually needs is another adult, someone who's of her age group and not her son. But this guy strongly believes that it's his duty, to be her emotional surrogate, to remain her, pseudo husband, yeah, emotional partner, yeah. She had a bad childhood. Her husband was bad. So now she's my first love. I mean, whenever you hear these things, these are red flags. Like, my mother is my first love, my father is my first love. These are red flags. Yeah. These are indicators that the person who is talking about these things might be enmeshed in an unhealthy way with their parent, and quite possibly their parent might be narcissistic. Yeah. So these I mean, adult children of narcissistic mothers, you know, he may never see, him playing, the emotional spouse of his mother as something which is abnormal. To him, it is the role and duty of a good son. Yeah, that's how, I will give her back. That's how I need to prove my loyalty to her. Yeah, he doesn't feel that it's abnormal that she's constantly, narrating her sad sob story, victim story, and she's talking about her issues with me, which she should be discussing with her age group people and person. Instead of seeing all of these things as abnormal, the son feels that I need to be a good son, and in order to be a good son, I need to listen to her. I need to enable her. I need to listen to her thing, her personal thing, whatsoever. And that's it. That is my way of proving my loyalty towards my narcissistic mother. The other way how these sons who are raised by narcissistic mothers prove their loyalty towards their narcissistic mother is by never confronting her or questioning her. So these children, I mean these men who are raised by narcissistic mothers, they genuinely believe that confronting their narcissistic mother is an act of betrayal. So even when she disrespects his boundaries, manipulates him, shames him, degrades him or his partner, he remains silent, because questioning her, confronting her is an act of betrayal. I need to prove my loyalty towards my mother. And how do I do that? By tolerating shit, by letting my wife suffer, by letting my girlfriend suffer. It's okay. But I can never ask question for my mother. I can never confront her for her bad action and behavior, because she's mother superior. She's the best. Yeah. And these narcissistic mothers, they actually train their son. They train their son to equate obedience with love. Yeah. So I need to be obedient. If I have to prove loyalty, if I have to prove my love towards her, I need to be a mindless zombie. I need to be obedient. Yeah. I just need to be a blind devotee. Yeah. A blind, obedient slave who's just listening to her, never questioning her, never confronting her, and that's it. The other way how these, adult, sons of narcissistic mothers, prove their loyalty is, by sacrificing his needs for her. So he will sabotage opportunities, relocate for her comfort, or avoid important life decisions if they cause her displeasure. He's going to do anything and everything to please her. Even if he has to leave the job, if he has to leave the wife, the child, he's going to do that. But he's never going to displease her. He's never going to tell her that, no, I mean, I can't do that. He's never going to say no. Yeah. So these sons who are raised by narcissistic mothers, they equate, their personal success, with her abandonment. Yeah. Because he was never allowed to exist as a separate person. So he feels his success includes her also. Yeah. And if he, or I mean if she is not included in his success, that means he's abandoning her. So he's extremely fucked up in the head. I mean, the kind of manipulation, gaslighting he experiences since his childhood, he literally processes and perceives things in a different way. He feels that if his success doesn't include her, I mean, his narcissistic mother, he's abandoning his mother. Yeah. So the only way to prove his loyalty, the only way to not make her feel abandoned or not abandoning her, is by sabotaging opportunities, by relocating for her comfort, leaving the wife and kid, avoiding important life decision, not doing anything for himself or for the child or for the girlfriend or for the wife, but everything solely to please that toxic woman, the narcissistic mother. The other way how these men prove their loyalty towards their narcissistic mother is by dehumanizing their romantic partner. Yeah. And trust me, this is one of the most tragic consequences, and one survivors often miss. To prove loyalty to his mother, the narcissistic mother, the son, who in majority of the cases is a narcissist as well, he becomes extremely cold, emotionally absent, and even cruel towards his romantic partner. He may marry her, he may have sex with her, and even raise children with her, but he will never stand with her when his mother is involved. He will always stand with his mother and not with his wife or girlfriend. Yeah. So these guys, I mean, these men, they feel that the most important person in their life is their mother and not the partner. If I prioritize my partner, my mother might feel jealous. My mother might feel uncomfortable. My mother might see my wife as a rival. So the best thing is, let me dehumanize my wife. Let me pay for her food, give her clothes, shelter, raise children with her, but let me be emotionally absent with her. Let me be emotionally present for my mother only. Yeah, and this is his way of proving loyalty towards his narcissistic mother. I mean, see, I do fuck around. I do have children. I do pay for her, things. But in the end, I come to you. Yeah, I mean, I'm not there emotionally for her, but I'm emotionally available for you. I am emotionally absent for my wife and for my children because you are my top priority. Yeah, so I mean, it's really dehumanizing, when you are married to such a man who was raised by a narcissistic mother. Because I personally feel at this point, I mean, there are some exceptions, but these narcissistic women, they raise narcissistic men in most of the cases. Yeah. And they literally distort the way how their sons perceive things or how they process things. And trust me, they make their sons a monster that other women suffer because of. Yeah. So in narcissistic families, when you are raised by a narcissistic mother, uh, no woman will be good enough but your mother. That's how things are. She trains you, she grooms you, that no one is going to love you the way how I do. No one is going to be good for you. Only I'm the one who is concerned about your greater good. Otherwise, other women, your wife, your girlfriend, they're just using you for your money. They're just extorting things. Your kids are also useless. Yeah. I mean, they don't care about you the way how I care about you. Yeah. And if you're familiar with Dr. Susan Forward's work, Susan Forward explains in, Mothers Who Can't Love, that these sons often split, emotionally bonded to their mother and physically bonded to their wives. So they are just split in half. He's physically with the wife, but he's emotionally elsewhere, and that's really painful. That is something that really hurts the partner, and that hurts the child as well. Yeah, they are never truly present with either of them. They are physically present with the wife, but mentally they are with the mother. They are emotionally and mentally with the mother, but they might not be physically around their mother. So it's really bad and toxic, because boundaries are blurred in such a way the son doesn't really know how he needs to behave with his partner and with his chosen family, with his children. Yeah, he is just operating out of an upgrade that was uploaded by his narcissistic mother. He doesn't use his brain. He's just there to please her. That's it. Yeah. To preserve the illusion of loyalty. These men, they will gaslight their partner. They will blame their partner. They will blame their wife. They will isolate their partner. Yeah. Consciously and unconsciously. And all of it is to preserve the illusion of loyalty. Yeah. I cannot leave my mother. Are you wanting me to leave my mother? Yeah, so they are going to do all sorts of things to evade accountability and responsibility and to keep serving that bitch. They are going to even blackmail you. They are going to pressurize you also into serving that bitch, that narcissistic mother, your narcissistic in law. They are going to, force, their children also into serving that old lady, the narcissistic mother. And this is what trauma therapist Pia Melody calls relationship triangulation born out of unresolved enmeshment. Everything is so enmeshed in an unhealthy, bad way that, it takes the form of this relationship triangulation. Yeah. Uh, where it's not just husband and wife, it's not just husband, wife, and children, it's someone else as well. Yeah, the narcissistic mother, the hero, the one who sacrificed everything for the son. Yeah, that's how the storyline is. So in most of the cases, if you're married to such a man who is also a narcissist and who's been raised by a narcissistic mother, the partner, the wife often becomes the scapegoat in the family. She's blamed for every disagreement. Yeah, and she's kept emotionally starving. And, she's constantly compared, to the mother. My mother tolerated everything. My mother kept peace. And look at you, you're being so bitchy. Look at you, you're so selfish. You want me to leave my mother? Who gave birth to me, who carried me for 9 months, who fought with my father, who stayed in an abusive relationship for the sake of me. So it's really bad if you fall in love with such men or if you get into relationship with such men. Yeah, because it's just a kind of a transactional relationship you have got into. It's nowhere close to love. Yeah, it's a kind of a generational trauma repeating itself, and you have just signed up for that trauma. Yeah, you have signed up for that traumatic life. Now you must be wondering, I mean, what cost, the son pays, to prove his loyalty. Yeah. Does he suffer at all? Does he pay a hefty price? So we are going to try and, unpack that. So the son, who in most of the cases are narcissists themselves, they pay, with their autonomy. So he never, truly grows into an individuated man. He's an extension of her. So he pays with his autonomy. He will never be able to, make any decision or take any decision. He will always rely on her because he was never allowed to individuate. He's still enmeshed and he's still, functioning like her extension and not, a separate individual. The other way these son, pay, for their loyalty is by not embracing their authenticity. They just learn, to mirror what others need him to be. That's it. Like a shapeshifter. They're going to become anything that you want them to be. That's it. They are never going to be their authentic self because mama never encouraged him to be authentic. And that's how he got his mama's love, by not being authentic and by being a version that she needed. Let me summon the therapist. Let me summon the pseudo husband. Let me summon a friend. Let me summon a confidant. Let me summon a toilet. Let me summon, a punch bag. Yeah. So this son, in order to prove his loyalty towards his abusive mother, toxic mother, narcissistic mother, he betrays his own authenticity. And he just, um, keeps shape shifting. Yeah, he keeps mirroring. If you want me to be like that, I'll be like that. You want me to be myself, but I don't know who I am. I don't know who he is. Yeah, so I cannot be him, but I can be someone you want me to be. Yeah, so these folks are not authentic. They don't have any control over their life. And lastly, these folks, I mean, sons of narcissistic mothers, you know, the way how they pay the price of proving their loyalty, towards their narcissistic mother is, having zero ability to love. It's not that they are not able to love, but they don't want to love. They literally numb their ability to love, because intimacy is something that feels like a betrayal. Yeah, if I am intimate with my wife, I'm betraying my mother. Yeah, it's not that he's not capable, but he chooses not to get intimate with his wife. He chooses to just be intimate with his mother because he has to prove his loyalty. Yeah, otherwise, mama will get angry. Yeah, so the best thing is, let me keep aside, my ability to love. And I have seen in a lot of cases that these guys who are raised by narcissistic mothers, and in most of the cases they become narcissists themselves, they are scared to love. They are scared of love. They want to seal the deal, but they don't want to love you, because they feel the only love that they can get into or give and express is to their mother. If they love their wife, it's betrayal. If they love their children and prioritize their children, it's betrayal. So, some of them have this ability to love, but they choose not to. And it's basically to prove their loyalty towards their narcissistic mother. It's basically to be in control and to make mama happy. Mama, I can love anyone. I will love my cat, I will love my dog, and above all, I will love you, mama. But I will never love my wife. See, I pay for her everything. I pay for my kids. I give them everything. But I'm not emotionally available for them. I'm not intimate with them. I'm just intimate with you. I show my intimacy towards you and not towards them. These guys who are raised by narcissistic mothers, they might make you feel as if you're just an incubator or a sex toy for them. No emotional depth or connection, nothing. They'll just use you for sex, they'll incubate, use you as an incubator, or use you as a hospice. Yeah. So, what are the different ways, the partner pays for such a relationship? In what ways, she pays for this toxic relationship? I mean, her marriage, her relationship with the son of a narcissistic mother. The first is chronic invalidation. So she's never validated. Every time she's invalidated, no matter what she does. Emotional starvation. So, I mean, he's never emotionally available and present for her or for the children. And, she's turned into the bad guy, in a script she didn't write. Yeah. So, no matter what she does, she's the bad guy. No matter what she does, she's the bad negative influence on the son. Yeah. That's how, things are in such families. Yeah. And, in some of the cases I have seen, the relationship literally collapses. I mean, the wife divorces the husband, she leaves. And it's not because of, lack of love. It's not primarily because of lack of love, but it's because the man cannot emotionally leave his mother's psychological grip. Yeah, the man cannot emotionally connect with the wife. Yeah, it's not always about love. Everything is fine, house, car, money, everything is there, but he cannot individuate, he cannot emotionally leave his mother's psychological trap. Yeah, he cannot connect emotionally with his wife because he's already taken, he's already had the forbidden fruit. Yeah. So I mean, in cases I have seen, sex is there, but I mean, in majority of the cases, it's so bad, and they are so emotionally enmeshed and fused that it's a nightmare for any woman who gets married to such a man, yeah, or gets married in such a family. And it's really important to clarify, and that is that it's not about villainizing the son. This is about naming the trauma. These sons were trained to survive by fusing with their mother's emotional world. Yeah, and that's how they got the love and affection and attention. If they wouldn't fuse, they wouldn't be loved. Yeah? So these sons, they learned that this is the only way forward, by emotionally fusing with the mother's emotional world. Yeah. And to tell you honestly, this isn't a character flaw either. It's pure trauma response. I'm not saying that, these guys are good who are raised by narcissistic mothers. No, but, these guys are operating out of the trauma response. That's how they were groomed and trained. I'm not trying to defend them, or I'm not trying to protect them, but all what I'm saying is that you know the way how they are raised, they are bound to become toxic individual. Yeah, so it's not a character flaw, it's a trauma response. The way how they were groomed and raised, that's how they have become who they are, and the credit goes to the narcissistic mother. Until unless these folks acknowledge the enmeshment, they will remain stuck in loyalty to dysfunction rather than loyalty to truth. And as Gabor Mate says, children would rather be wrong than lose the attachment, and that's a very natural and a normal thing. Yeah, they will sacrifice authenticity to preserve their connection with their abusive, toxic, dysfunctional, narcissistic parent. So you guys must be wondering, what is the way out then? And the way out begins with recognizing the enmeshment, naming the guilt as conditioning and not truth. Yeah, setting boundaries even when it feels like betrayal. This is for the guys. I mean the guys who are ready to work on their relationship with their wife, the guys who are somewhat aware, who are not narcissists, who are somewhat aware that there's something wrong with the family, but they are scared to call out all of those things. So this is for those guys who are ready to work on themselves, who want to heal and save their relationship with their wife. The only way forward is recognizing the enmeshment, learning to set boundaries even if it feels like betrayal. And there are a lot of therapy modalities, like the inner child work, REBT, CBT, family systems therapy. It can be of help, and it can help you reprogram yourself, or retrain yourself, or re-educate yourself. Yeah, and it can also help you see that your life is not just limited till your mother. Yeah, it's not beginning from her and ending on her. There are other things in your life as well. Yeah, which you need to reclaim. Yeah, without feeling guilty, which you need to reclaim without you know feeling guilty, or without having this feeling of betraying your mother. Yeah, there are other things also. And for the partners who are married to such individuals, you need to understand that the emotional absence that you are experiencing and witnessing in that relationship, uh, it's not just the son, or it's not his fault. It's a wound from a woman, a mother, who never set her son free. So it's the wound caused by a mother who chained her adult son, who chained her son for life, who didn't let her son individuate, who didn't let her son, move on in life, who simply stunted the growth of the son and crippled the son. This was it. I mean, these are some of the ways how these sons, of narcissistic mothers, they prove their loyalty towards their mother. And in case if you'd like to add in something, you can always comment below. Till then, take care of yourself. Lots of love and blessings to all of you. Bye.